So, what do you guys want to talk about? So, ladies, thank you for being here, first of all. Thank you for the amazing work that you put in on the films. We are honestly so happy to see you. Look at some of the t-shirts out there, everybody is just, they're huge fans. They really are. Let's hear it for them one more time. So I'm just gonna kind of start off right off the bat. Catherine. Hack sauce.
Oh, we're going.
we're just jumping in. Okay. We're just jumping in. Hack sauce. And when you I just gotta know, when you read that, what went through your mind?
I know this sounds really like ridiculous, and I say it every time, but I really didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal. I know that sounds crazy, but like I was living in New York City, and I was like doing performance art, and I like came off like a couple of trauma films, so I'd seen like crazy stuff, and I just was like, oh yeah, okay. I really didn't think it was that big of a deal, and I guess I also didn't imagine it being shot the way that it was. And so, you know, we did it, and I remember, you know, going home afterwards, and we were on the Staten Island ferry together, David and I, and there was no heat or running water in this building, so I still had a pink face. I had baby wipe and like blood in my hair, and it just happened to be like 20 degrees, because why would we get lucky? I had the bathrobe on, and then my winter coat over top, and David still had like the black under his eyes. And again, like you have to remember, this Terrifier was not a thing yet. It was just this bizarre movie that Damien was like working around our schedules to like make happen. And we're just sitting there like exhausted like this, staring straight ahead, looking like complete crazy people. And people are getting on the Staten Island ferry and like going to work. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning, and nobody said a word. So like nobody said anything. So I really like truly didn't think it was gonna like take off in the way that it did. And I wrote about it recently for Fangoria and talked about how like that's what the first couple of reviews like started to come in and talk about. I think it wasn't until we screened at Lincoln Center that like I was like, oh, this might be something, because that was the only time we showed. It sold out, and the hack sauce scene happens, everyone's screaming, you know, and then it's just silent. And I remember in that moment thinking, oh my God, we went too far. Oh my God, it was too much. And then someone made a joke, and everyone started applauding, and I knew it was going to be okay after that. But it's been like a weird trajectory. I never thought it was going to have the impact that it did, truly.
What's the oddest thing that somebody has said to you about that scene? What's the weirdest thing that somebody's said?
When people tell me it's like their comfort movie, I love you all, but like, therapy is a really valuable resource.
That's funny, because I didn't know that my daughter's mom was here, so.
You got that too, right? Yeah.
Well, Lauren, everybody after the second one came out, you were basically being hailed as like the new badass of horror. Like that's social media and everything. Like I went and I saw the film, and then I came home and I'm on Facebook, and I'm just kind of scrolling around, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, she's it. She's going to just kick ass in all of these movies and everything." And I'm like, yeah. So fucking badass in that. I mean, yeah. I mean, come on, you guys agree with that, right? Yeah. You wanted that final showdown at the end. But it was great because you kind of went from this like little, almost mousy girl just kind of telling the brother to shut the hell up to let's kick ass. So, how was all about you, especially like Elliot? Elliot's awesome too. So.
I love Elliot. I love the Fulhams, his entire family. His parents are like my family now. He's like my real life brother now. I absolutely love the Fulhams. Yeah, what was the question? What was it like? I mean, I had the best homework working on this film. I'm already a horror fan. Like I love, women in horror, the quote-unquote final girl, I'm a huge fan of. So I just watched all of my favorite final girls. This was Damien's homework for me. Like watching like Sydney, Ripley's his favorite. And we took a lot from Ripley. And just like writing characteristics. Like I literally still have a list of all the final girls' characteristics. And then I would have a conversation with Damien. All right, do you think Sienna would take this from Sydney or Ripley, or do you think she's more like Lori in this way? So it's really, Sienna, in my opinion, is a love letter to all the great final girls and just awesome women in horror. And I have a really interesting technique when I'm trying to get into character. I love making playlists, especially because when I was filming Terrifier 2, I was also filming a Hallmark Christmas film at the same time. And I was like, how am I gonna get in the heads? Like literally the same time, I had to take a break, go to Atlanta to film. And I was like, how am I gonna do this? So I made like playlists for each character. I learned that from Mahershala Ali. I don't know if you know him, he's an Oscar-winning actor, he's incredible. And Damien made me a playlist for Sienna. And if you come to my table, I'll play it if you like, because I still have it on my Spotify. A lot of Fleetwood Mac, The Midnight, he just has the best taste. So it was just, my journey doing Sienna was a beautiful one because it was really collaborative with all of the actors, and Damien was always like I had so many questions, I was so annoying. I was like texting him at midnight, like, what do you think about this? And he was like, yeah, let's fucking do it. So it was really fun. So I hope I get to work with him again on something. On something, I don't know.
Yeah. See, you said that about being a fan of horror before. Or were you a horror fan as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I wasn't as much of a slasher person, but I love when like the father-daughter duos come to the tables, because that was always something I did with my dad. My mom she's never seen Terrifier, she has no interest in seeing Terrifier. She's just like most of the films that I'm in, and most of my family, like interesting, my family loves my Hallmark Christmas movies, but they like have not seen most of the horror films, and it's like two ends of the spectrum. But like my dad and I really bonded growing up over like genre stuff. And so for me, it was more like, I love The Lost Boys. And Damien and I bonded over that because that's his favorite too. And the dog in The Lost Boys looks like my dog, so that's why she's in Terrifier briefly, which is like kind of fun. And I loved like The Craft. I was a huge Buffy girl, the original and then the series. And it was like a similar thing where it was like, this was the first time, it still doesn't happen enough in my opinion, where I got to see fully formed female characters that had this like full arc. And that just doesn't happen a lot, and I think genre film takes these risks that happen before other genres are prepared to take that risk. And I think that's what makes it like so incredible. Like even like the subject of like violence against women and the way that they show it, because art reflects life, right? And so I've always been a fan of the genre. I wouldn't say that I'm a huge slasher person, but I'm definitely a genre enthusiast, if that makes sense.
Buffy and Angel or Buffy and Spike?
Oh, Buffy and Spike, for sure. For sure. I know it's a toxic relationship shit, everyone do their own therapy. That's like not my problem. Okay. But I think I was also more of a Willow fan myself. Underrated relationship in my opinion. But yeah, hardcore Buffy girl, and like Hush. Oh my god, that episode. So talk about the things that this franchise pulls from, right? I feel like Doug lays the groundwork in Hush so that David can run. You know what I mean? In those creepy nuanced performances. It's just and that's what's so cool, right? Is like Damien is a fan of the genre. He came to cons just like this growing up, and like every single one of his films, he pulls exactly from everything that he loved in the genre. He's like just incredible.
I had actually talked to Danny about that, like, how these are kind of a love letter from him to 70s grindhouse horror movies, and just some of the stuff that he liked. And you know, we talked about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it was funny because they bring Hush too, in the art. Hush was, I think that was probably the best episode of that series.
Yeah, we have like, I mean, some of like the niche horror stuff that doesn't always come from this one, like I Spit on Your Grave is like a killer film with like really amazing female characters. There's so much that like, even like early Psycho, you know what I mean? Like there's just so much that like every other genre pulls from. In cinematic structure, if you look at how things are executed from like a DP perspective, it's incredible. And I think like that's where you don't always have to be like a slasher fan to love genre film, you know?
Slashers, Lauren, were you a fan of slashers or no?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I love every slasher. That's all I have to say about that. Like, it's just clear cut, yes, I watch all slashers. I haven't seen the most recent Scream movies, don't kill me. I know I have to, I just haven't had the time, but I definitely want to. Yeah, I love all slashers.
I think it's kind of cool too with slasher movies like Leslie Burnham behind the mask. That kind of started to reinvigorate and reinvent the genre. So that was just a fun one. I could see a little bit of that as well. So.
What's really cool about like the newer films, at least for me, I have seen the newer Scream films, and what's really cool I think about those is they like harken back to this world. Like if you look at that set design in that film, they have posters from like the last podcast on the left guys who are like good friends. They have Ice Nine Kills posters. Ice Nine does a song in that with Demi Lovato. Like they are now drawing from you guys. Like you've created the culture for the slashers to build on, and that's really cool too. I think there's no other film genre that does that.
Whatever thought that you would hear Ice Nine Kills with Demi Lovato.
Right? But they killed it, and his girlfriend Nadia cast that music video, and she also killed it. Like they're incredible. I love Spencer is like one of my best friends. He's awesome.
So we've got some questions out from the audience. Who do we have first? Come on, I saw some hands go up. Let's go right here.
I don't know if we can tell you. Because we're on strike. We can loosely describe the horror franchise. There is a horror franchise wherein creatures from another dimension are very well known because there's really badass female characters who go after them, and sometimes these creatures look kind of like weird they look kind of like weird bugs, but they're not bugs. And there's never been an actor who's played this monster in both. But there's two, and sometimes they're on land and pull from Native American culture, and sometimes they're not, and that is the one. I don't know if that was No, I know, I can't, we're on strike, we can't talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to describe it. I was like, I know what you're talking about.
You know the one with the guy with the mask?
Right.
That one.
You can, however, join us for charades later this week.
I would love to go to outer space. It starts with an A, ends with an S. That's all I have.
Where are you back there? You had something, right? Yeah, stand on up. Give us your question.
There's a popular fan theory that Archon is somehow related to Shannon, the brother. How do you feel about that theory yourself?
Yeah, I had that same theory when I read the script. Like, I immediately texted Daniel. I was like, "Is Arthur dead?" Like, it was my first. After being a part of it and watching it, I no longer think that is the thing. It just doesn't line up timeline-wise. I think it's a perfectly understandable theory and it's kind of fun. I'd like to think that a father wouldn't do that to their children, but that's just my opinion. I don't know. It takes all kinds of therapy. Yeah, therapy, yes. The theme today, kids.
Edible complexes on board.
Yeah, to answer your question, I don't think it is the case, but it is a fun theory. And who knows, I don't know, Damien's a sick fuck, so who knows what we're doing.
What is your 100% theory about it? Amongst your friends?
I was the same way where the first half of watching the movie, I was like, he's gotta be their dad or something. And by the end, I was like, so he's not the dad, but he's gotta be related somehow, or like their parents must have crossed paths with him at some point in the past, because like, there's no way that someone like to randomly just have this connection like out of the blue. So I think maybe it's like they knew him in the past, or like I'm not sure. It's still in my brain. I'm trying to wrap my head around it. It's no idea.
We've all got that creepy uncle. Really.
He's been creepy uncle in the corner of the family meeting. Don't talk about it. Right.
Got a question there? I saw you raise your hand. Right there. Yeah.
What motivates you in general?
In life,
Yeah, like projects or whatever. What's happening? This will both you.
I don't know. I like income. Usually do. No, I'm kidding. But also no. But also sort of. My dog motivates me a lot. No, I talk about, this is going to get hippy-dippy for a sec, but Aristotle says in the Poetics that the reason we tell stories, i.e. cinema, theater, songs, is because it is the closest we can be as human beings to understanding another human suffering ourselves. Because when you watch a movie, you cry, you laugh, you feel fear, and that feels really real in your body, right? But then, afterwards, the lights come up, and the world comes back around you, and you're purged from that experience, but renewed with an understanding that you didn't have moments ago. And he says it is in that understanding that there's the ability to create real change. So that motivates me. I think that's our job as storytellers, is to try to inspire real change. That's it.
It's so beautiful.
I can sometimes.
I agree with you 100%. I also have a Marcia Graham quote, who was this world famous dancer. I can't quote the whole thing, I'm not as smart as you. And basically she says, if you don't, your expression, your art expression is yours, like fully and completely, and there's nobody else in this world that can express whatever you have that's inside you. If you don't express that, it's lost. The world won't have it. So I feel like my experience, if it can help someone in some way, because film, all kind of cinema has impacted my life, has taught me how to be a better human being, has helped me understand people with different walks of life, and it's given me friends when I didn't have any. So if I can help someone feel less alone, I'm gonna try to do it. And I try to have that thought in my mind whenever I have like that imposter syndrome, like I suck, I don't know what I'm doing. But when I feel that way, I'm like, maybe someone needs to hear this, and maybe I can be that person for them. So that inspires me, and my cat inspires me too, and my husband. I don't know where he's at. He's over there. And that's it.
Stand up way high down. What you guys have both just said was truly awesome because, you know, being around shows like this, I've seen people actually say to actors, actresses, your work helped me through such and such a dark time in my life. And you know, I've seen kids go up and just cry in front of people and just say, thank you for what you do. And to me, it's so rewarding on my end just to see people say that. So I can't imagine how it is for you guys to hear that firsthand from somebody. So that's phenomenal that you would bring that up. It might not necessarily comfort me, but I just think it's awesome when you get that interaction with the fans. So again, so happy to have you here having that interaction with the fans, because the horror community, honestly, they're one of the best communities in the world. And the way that I see them look after each other, and I know that you guys are getting that a lot. So thank you again for that.
Thank you,
Thank
thank
you
you
for what you
guys.
said.
It doesn't happen without you guys, and like, I think that's like half of it, right? Is like, I mean, this was like years ago now, but this other project that I'm trying to cancel the title of with our SAG restriction, that is also here. Like 10 years ago we did, and we premiered at the Cannes Film Festival, and gay marriage wasn't legal at the time. I was 19 when we did this, and we had a queer love story. And long chain of events, we were the first lesbian wedding in France, which was wild. But I remember like in making it, it was like one of those like really risky things. And when I chose to do the film, my agent dropped me. Gay marriage wasn't legal in the United States. When we went to Cannes, people were protesting outside of our hotel. But when we like persevered and did the wedding and did everything anyway, people would come to this was again 10 years ago now, genre film festivals and genre audiences would come to our tables and talk about how, and cry and talk about how it was the first time they saw like a teenage love story, a queer teenage love story. And I think like that's exactly what we're talking about, is like if you can let people know that like no matter how weird or out of place you feel, no matter how different, even if the world feels like they're totally against you, you can find your home in cinema. That makes it all worthwhile. All the like whatever upside down crazy things they push you through, that's what makes it, worthwhile, comfort movie or not,
You see right back there? Good, stand on it. You.
Who are your favorite final girls, and how does it feel working in horror genre compared to
Yeah, favorite, it's like an impossible question to answer. I don't know, I would name them all, I don't know. It depends on my mood, honestly. I can say who I think is a very underrated final girl, and who I think that would be is Mia Allen from Evil Dead 2013. I think she's underrated. And I mean, if I say she's my favorite, some days she's my favorite, but also some days Laurie's my favorite, and some days Ridley's my favorite, and Sydney, so I don't know. And what was the second part of your question?
How does it feel working in horror opposed to other genres?
Yeah, like Catherine was saying, and I even just did recently an interview with Danielle Harris, Talk Scary to Me, and we were talking about women in horror and how, genre films and horror films write some of the best women. They truly they can feel so many things, they can be so deeply flawed, and I love that, and you still can love them for it, for just being psychos or whatever, you can just love them. And I think that's my favorite part about working in horror. I can do anything, and people will accept it. And they're just written really in an interesting and fun way. There's just so many possibilities. So I wouldn't mind continuing working in genre. I mean, I'm happy if it's well written. I don't care what genre it is. If it's a cool female role, I'm happy. But horror is my favorite thing to watch as an audience member because I never have to be in the mood for it. I can just put it on and be like, yeah, this feels good. So, yeah, that's why I like doing it. I'm so happy to know that a horror community exists because I honestly didn't know there was one, and I've always loved horror, and I've kind of been on my own loving horror, and it wasn't until that this film came out that I was like, oh shit, there's a community of people that want it to be Halloween all year round. That's awesome. I'm that person. So it's really cool to meet people that I feel like we're kindred spirits in a way.
I'm the biggest fan of the term final girl, and that's not to say that I don't think the actresses who play them, I've done both now, are not amazing and wonderfully talented people. Barbara Crampton has this amazing article that she wrote called "Don't Call Me a Scream Queen," and the reason she doesn't like the term is because it's been used a lot in cinema to kind of keep genre beneath in terms of pay equity for women, other scale, and I'm not the biggest fan of that. And she also says that it's reductive. It means that like her ability as an actor is just her ability to like be a born female and yell. And we all know that we put so much more into all of our performances regardless of the genre. And I find that Final Girl is a similar thing. It's reductive. We don't say lasting boy. You know what I mean? And I also find that often, unintentionally, this happened in genre. The final girl is the one who's gone through the most trauma, and the women who are like outspoken and are sexually empowered are usually punished and very brutally for that. So for me, I don't really like that term. I prefer we just refer to us as genre actors across the board and not really sexualize it. But that's just me, and that's not to say that I don't think there are brilliant actresses who do that. I admire every single one of them. And I think my favorite is just one of my really good friends, Scout Taylor Compton. She's a badass in life. We also have a very similar style. We'll run into each other and have very similar outfits on. So that's my girl, I love her. And then the difference, I'd say, about working in genre versus like other mediums is the community. No other genre has a fandom in a community like this outside of like superhero movies. And even then there's like overlap, you know. So I think that's like the difference. You don't have people who, like, you guys, nothing gets by you. You know everything about every franchise, and if you're stepping into a franchise, you better know your shit. Because like, it's like not gonna get by you, and I love that. I joke, well, since we've both done Christmas, that Christmas films and horror films have very similar audiences. You both are hardcore in terms of like your trivia and you know everything. You both have great merch. You both have conventions. The difference is one is your Midwestern mom on the couch and the other one is the Midwestern mom's creepy child in the basement. That's the same household. That's it. I'm really talking about that's the difference. That answers your question.
Favorite final boy?
Ash.
Ash is a good one. Ash is a great one.
He's like the only one.
I don't know if this is struck. I don't know. Okay, you know the movie with when they get stuck in a hotel and the dad goes crazy with a axe. We all know that movie. The little boy in that movie is very good.
That's great.
Yes, I heard someone say, "Oh, the Herman." Yes. We just watched it the other night, and I just was blown away by this child actor, like his face, like the fear on his face. I was like, holy shit, he's so good. He's like 2 years old. It's crazy. Yeah, probably him. But I also love Ash. I'm a huge Ash fan.
Sure.
Yes.
Ash for sure. That's a great one. I had my own thoughts, I'm sure we all do, about the most recent film in this franchise. We all had our own feelings, I understand. However, I cited a friend who is in this franchise, not the most recent one, but they did put a final boy in. It's very famous. It set the precedent for slashers. Jamie Lee Curtis is in it. I liked that they did that. I thought that was an interesting choice. How I felt about the film, other thoughts. But I liked that they did that. I thought that was cool.
I also like the one with the guy who had the knives on the glove.
Uh-huh.
The second installment of that franchise,
Yes.
where they went completely left the final boy, so to speak.
I like that. I like
It was fun.
The lasting boy.
Lasting boy. I like that. I'm gonna try to use that. Yes.
It was real. It was real rage. I mean, aside from the fact we would be on set for 20 plus hours filming. Did you see the costume? We all saw it, right? It was very uncomfortable. Like, just wearing it, it wasn't lined on the inside, like, taking it off. I wouldn't even be moving that day, and I would have cuts and bruises and scabs, and just because it was not made well. It looked cool, and that's awesome. So I was miserable because of that. I was just, like, looking at Damien, like, I fucking hate you, why are you making me wear this? And aside from just being exhausted, you really, in certain situations like that, you might want to draw from personal experiences, and I've had plenty of, I won't get into it because it would depress everyone, but I do try to draw from my own experience. And Damien is really great in that he'll ask me, like, would you like a minute before a scene? And I can just go off to the side and try to meditate and channel whatever it is I went through in my life, and hopefully I can, throw it away and it'll show up in the scene. So yeah, just trauma. Just trauma.
Is that valuable resource?
Therapy.
Say it again.
I'm sorry, go ahead. That's it, trauma.
Stand there. Come up here. Everybody get your cameras in. You gotta see this guy.
Hi.
Look at this. How awesome is this? Look at her. Oh my God. Do you have a question for them? Would you like to ask them something?
Yeah, come here.
What's your name? Everybody, Charlie. She's like, I hate you.
The character doesn't talk much. She's in character right now.
I just had to show you guys this. Look at how
You look
awesome.
amazing.
Yeah.
You look incredible.
You look so good.
Oh my God, you got blood-stained hands. I love that. Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Charlie. You look awesome. How old are you? 10? Okay. And you've seen the movie? Okay,
Excellent parenting.
But
Excellent parenting.
you were going to be like a standard bearer for me. My daughter's 15, and she said to me, she was like, I saw these clown movies. Can we watch them? And I'm like, no.
Excellent parenting. Excellent parenting.
So we've got that slated in for her 18th birthday. Yes.
No, I didn't. I wish I had. I had seen Art the Clown on like streaming services, and I was like, that looks really cool. I should check that out. And I even was a friend with a casting director at the time who said that they had some involvement. They were like, yeah, you should check this film out. I think you'd like it since you love genre films. I was like, cool. I just didn't get around to it because I'm the type of person who will watch a show over and over instead of, it's just, again, life. So I auditioned for it without watching it, and I forgot, because as an actor you try to forget about an audition so you don't like dwell about it. And then I got a call back, and I was like, okay, they liked what I was doing, maybe I should continue not to watch the film, because I didn't want to be influenced by what I was seeing. I was hoping to just, keep bringing whatever they were liking. And I got like 3 callbacks, and then I had a chemistry read. And that day, Damien was like, oh, you got the part, by the way, which never happens. They never tell you that day. And I was like, dope, let's do it. And I went home and watched it that day, and I was like, oh, shit. I didn't get the script even when I got the part. I didn't read the whole script. I read scenes. So I have no idea. what I was getting myself into. And I just remember watching it and I like fell in love with these girls. Like I say this all the time, like I thought Catherine reminded me so much of like PJ Souls. Like she had like that air, that just like young woman who's living her life to her fullest and having fun, and I loved that. And same with Jenna, like I loved Tara. And obviously Dave is phenomenal. And yeah, I just am happy I took the part, but I also, maybe, you know what, maybe if I did watch the film, I wouldn't have even auditioned for it. So I'm happy that I did, because I'm like, what are they gonna do to me? But yes, it turns out it was all in the up and up, and I got to work with really cool people. But to answer your question very long-windedly, no, I didn't watch it.
And correct me if I'm wrong, like, so you said 3 callbacks and a chem read. Like, it was a pretty competitive audition process. And all the girls in the second film, they also read for Sienna. So it was like really competitive. Ours was not like that. Damien direct offered to Jenna. I got referred, I came in once, and he offered it to me that day. And then Jenna and I both tried to bail because we both had bigger projects. They had to shoot around us. Like, it was competitive for them. They like really had to work for it. That did not happen for us at all. So like she had to go through it even before she even got there. Like Damien shot around us. He made it work for us. She had to make it work for them, and that's a big deal on a film like this because they're long, long days.
So you down here had a question, right? Yeah.
I like the common Terrifier. So even filming, you're spending time with the person, but you're using character all the time. I don't know. How much art what do you about the character clown? Did it terrify you? Yeah. Watching it older, watching like after it terrified you?
No. No. Let's get very, very real. What's awesome about Damien is the women that he casts in this film are all badass. Jenna is like a Krav Maga master. She is amazing. I do mixed martial arts. She does mixed martial arts. In a real fight, let's get very real, every single one of these women would kick David's ass. He would not stand a chance. Let's be very real. Oh, yes, that's a big deal. We won. We're very real about that. He is lovely. He is kind. He is not intimidating at all.
Yeah, no, I love Dave, obviously. I met him out of costume, and he's just the and I'm sure a lot of you have met him, he's just the gentlest soul. He would not hurt a fly, and that's just a testament to how wonderful of an actor he is, because he is menacing as hell looking. But yeah, no, I would kill him if he ever tried. He would never do anything. And I think he would admit to this because he has said it multiple times, but just, yeah, no.
A fair fight.
It's a fair fight.
Doesn't stand a chance.
This is fair chance. Tag team that, bro. No, I'm kidding. I love him. But yes, I think that Damien is such a talented artist, and he crafted such a horrifying mask. And Dave is just a really wonderful performer, and he knows how to like contort his body. And if I didn't know him, I think I would be intimidated, because I am scared of clowns. And there were times I would look at him and say like, but no, he's not an intimidating guy, and that's just because he's a sweet man, and he treats women really well. So we're good.
That was Dave's first feature. It's his first on-camera acting role. He did theater. He was like an understudy for The Grinch off Broadway. Like very physical. Yeah.
He's just so funny.
In real life too.
We did at our Cincinnati show, we did a screening of a horror franchise that had the title of something Rise. And I was sitting beside him, and he was just cracking me up, because all of a sudden he would break in like, "Oh, Chris, watch out what you're doing over here." And so he's just, doing all of this, and we're watching this movie that should be super scary, but we're laughing our asses off at some of the things we're saying.
During the pandemic on Instagram Live, I was reading like children's books for charity. They're an adult ones, like I do. And I had David come on and we did The Grinch. And it was so fun. It was one of my favorites. And he did like the full character while we were drinking. You know, so it was fun.
Have you ever heard him do one of his Joker monologues? Oh my God. Amazing. Okay, so we've got last question, right here. Very light, no pressure. No pressure.
Sorry.
It's okay.
So we talked about like girls and everyone else and things. I noticed a trend where like the person doing kid, like the black phone, or Megan, not as kids, finishing off as badasses and things. And are there any children born to be like, wow, they were super inspiring? So what things terrified you?
I thought who's the actress in Megan? Not who plays Megan, who's here. There's another.
Violet McGraw. Violet.
Violet. Oh my God, so talented, so talented. I think, oh my gosh, so many. And then there was like Drew Barrymore when she was younger. But still, to this day, but like so talented. Danielle Harris, also incredibly talented kid. I don't think he was a final, but Nico Hughes is a good friend through this circuit. There's so many, like, that have become like amazing adults in this business that are super talented.
Yeah, I'd have to say Danielle. As a child, I mean, as soon as the 5th of July hits, I'm like, Halloween, I don't care, like everything, and I'll watch the entire franchise. And growing up, 4 and 5, I would just watch Danielle and I would want to be her, you know? And it didn't occur to me until I was older that she also killed someone. I was like, oh, she has a bloody, whatever that was, I think it was scissors. And I was like, oh, that's kind of messed up. But I still looked up to her. And I just, like, even if you watch now, it ages so well. Like, it's still, like, as an audience member, you're like, shit, this kid is talented. And she continues to be talented. And, but yeah, so many. Violet is great. I like the series she did with with Mike Flanagan, and you all know what I'm talking about. I don't know if it's struck. I don't know what I can talk about. So yeah, so many wonderful child actors. Yeah, but definitely Daniel.
Okay, reverse side of that. Are there any kids who just annoy the shit out of you so much and you're like, kill this kid? Oh my God.
No, actually not.
I mean that in a nice way.
And I would never say that, even if they're what? Are you trying to get me canceled?
We'll talk.
Kids are really bad at cancer.
Okay.
Annoying us when they got
When I was younger, I used to think that. When I was a kid, I'd be like, fuck this kid. But then, like, as I got older, I was like, this kid is suffering. Like, I've grown as a person, I can admit to that. But there were definitely children in horror films, and I was like, oh, so annoying. Like, just get to the slasher part. But, like, as an adult, I'm like, wow, that's a really talented actor. So, yeah.
I would have killed Isaac and children. That's fine. All right, everybody, that's all the time that we've got. Thank you all so much.